My sister and I were both blessed with naturally fertile bodies. My sister married a poor farmer in our village and gave birth to 5 sons. Their family thrived and escaped poverty. I married the wealthy ranch foreman, but only had daughters. My husband resented me for embarrassing him and beat me and our girls to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day the matchmaker came. I watched coldly as the ranch foreman unexpectedly chose my sister with the limp, and I realized he had also been reborn. He thought marrying my sister would guarantee him sons, unaware that he had a genetic condition preventing him from having boys. I pointed to the quiet, thin-educated youth in the corner and declared, "I will marry him." In my previous life, when we went to the city to buy medicine, Tom Quinn passed by in his military vehicle and recognized me. It was only then that I learned that the low-key Tom was actually the son of a military commander. After returning to the city, he passed the college entrance exam and became a university professor. Tom said that when he first came to our village, I gave him a cornbread. Since then, he has liked me, but at that time he felt that he was not worthy of me. He never imagined that I would have an unhappy marriage. He said he would use his connections to help me get a divorce. But before Tom could give me an answer, I was killed that night by a drunken Mark. In this life, I must not miss. Hearing that I was going to marry Tom, my father objected first. Nonsense. He's an outsider with no roots here. If you marry him, you won't even have enough to eat. But Mark approved of the idea. Great! Tom Quinn can't work and is always buried in books. He's perfect for you. My father was wary of Mark. Seeing his approval, he dared not say more and could only ask Tom if he would like to. Tom came up to me, blushing, and nodded. I would like to, but I can't afford the dowry right now. I smiled and shook my head. He was his own most valuable asset. My parents had used Mark's dowry to provide a decent dowry for my younger sister. Tom could offer nothing, so naturally I had nothing. My sister sat on the bed, humming a song and admiring her new dress and hair ribbon. I tried to warn her, Mark Johnson is not a good man. My sister's face darkened. Sarah, are you jealous that I'm doing better than you? In the past, I was inferior to you in every way, and my parents favored you more. But that's all changed now. I'm marrying into a family that's much better off than yours. You're just jealous, aren't you? I couldn't convince my sister, and I even got in trouble with my parents. A married daughter is like water spilled. Don't ruin Mary's marriage. You good for nothing. If you say another word, we'll disown you. On the day of the wedding, Mark came to pick up my sister on his bicycle wearing a large watch, looking proud and successful. It was said that the Johnsons even had a sewing machine and a radio. The girls in the village looked at my sister with envy, and almost everyone went to the Johnsons' house to celebrate. I walked alone to Tom's house. The village had assigned him a barn, which was cold in winter and hot in summer. When I pushed open the door, I saw that Tom had decorated the barn with wildflowers. Sarah, I'm sorry. You have suffered because of the complicated background of my family. I know you agreed to marry me out of resentment that day. If you don't want to, I can explain to the village leaders. Our marriage certificate doesn't have to take effect. I went straight up and embraced his thin waist. Fool, I married you, and that won't change. For better or for worse, right? Tom had always had a crush on me. The first time he got close to me, he almost couldn't breathe. Sarah, I'm so lucky. I promise I'll do everything I can to keep you from suffering. I took his hand and whispered,